The hijab, according to the Qur'an and the Sunnah. The requirements of a woman's hijab in accordance to the Qur'an and the Sunnah, and the practice of the pious predecessors, meaning the Salaf. Introduction. This essay will attempt to briefly yet concisely enumerate the basic requirements regarding Muslim women's dress, i.e. the hijab, as stipulated by the Sharia divine law of Islam. The term hijab includes not only dress and covering the body, but methods of behavior before members or the same and or opposite sex, promoting privacy for females and prohibiting loose intermingling between males and females, and thereby engaging modesty, decency, chastity, and above all, respect and worship of Allah. So therefore, the hijab for the women not only constitutes the covering, but also your modesty of not intermingling or being in the face of men, or sitting next to men, or talking next to men. All of this requirements is entailed in the hijab. Minor differences exist among the scholars regarding the actual number of requirements because of varying methods used by them in codifying. The ones mentioned here represent the ones agreed upon by the overwhelming majority of scholars and are all solidly backed by firm evidence taken from the Quran, the Sunnah, and the practice of the Sahabas, radiyallahu anhum ajma'in. The first requirement of the hijab for the woman. The extent of covering. The extent of covering. The dress worn in public must cover the entire body except what has been specifically excluded based upon the following points. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, and this is in chapter 24, verse 31. Allah states, A'udhu-billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, and tell the believing women to lower their gaze. So the women are to lower their gaze as well. This is not just for the men, right? They like to tell the men to lower their gaze, but the women should lower their gaze as well. And tell the believing women to lower their gaze and guard their private parts from sin, and do not show of their adornment except only that which is apparent, and draw their head covers over their necks and their bosoms. So that which covers their head should cover their necks and their breasts, and not reveal their adornment except to their husbands, meaning they don't have to be covered in front of their husbands, their fathers, their husband's father. So you married to your husband, you don't have to cover in front of your husband's father. Their sons, right? You have sons, you don't have to cover in front of your sons, or your husband's sons, because your husband's sons can't marry his wife. Their brothers, so those who are your blood brothers, not no play brother. Blood brothers, they do not have to be covered in front of their brothers, or their brothers' sons, meaning their nephews. So you do not have to be covered in front of your nephews. Or their sister's sons, right? So you have a sister, again, your nephews by your sister, right? You don't have to be covered in front of them as well. Or their women, i.e. the sisters in Islam, you don't have to be covered in front of your Muslim sisters. Or their female slaves whom their right hand possesses. This is the right hand possessions again. If this is pertaining to war, right? These are the slaves, or those who are the booty in the war. They don't have to be covered in front of them. Or the old male servants free of physical desire. So someone who is very old in age, 80, 90, he can't even, he has no desire. Okay? You understand that he ain't out there on the prowl. Okay? His desire is not up there. He's in the age, he ain't tripping. You don't have to be covered in front of those men as well, old in age. Or old male servants free of physical desires, or small children who have no sense of woman's nakedness. So those children who are not at the age of discernment of this is, this makes a difference between a boy and a girl. You should be covered in front of non-Muslim women. You should be covered in front of non-Muslim women. The only one that you cannot show yourself in front of is Muslim women. Because the non-Muslim women have, there's a potentiality of them going telling people what you look like. The Muslim woman knows that she's not supposed to tell what the next sister looks like to anybody. Okay? It's in the ayah. You cannot be uncovered. You should not be uncovered in front of non-Muslim women. And let them not stamp their feet so as to reveal what they hide of their adornment, meaning they should not be bouncing around, jumping up and down to expose their breasts. No one should be able to see what's underneath, so stamping their feet or making, back in the day, they used to wear anklets. And what they used to do was stamp their feet to try to get attention. So the women should not be walking around with anklets and making noises and whatnot to gain attention from the men. And turn unto Allah altogether, O you believers. Again, speaking to believers, so if you follow these rules and regulations, you are the believers, in order that you may obtain success. Again, chapter 24, verse 31. Who you should cover in front of, or who you should not cover in front of. Anyone who is not mentioned in this ayah. Right? And you notice cousins was not mentioned in this ayah. The women have to be covered in front of their cousins. Because in Islam, you can marry your cousins. So you have to be covered in front of your cousins. Continuing, inshallah. And again, the purpose of this is to get understanding as to proper etiquette in our deen. Okay, we want Allah to bless us with the best by following the Sharia, following the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad and having a better understanding of the ayats. Not according to our understanding, but according to the understanding of the Prophet and the Salaf, the Sahaba, and those who implemented, these rules, inshallah. The word zina in the ayat literally means adornment, and includes both A, that which Allah has adorned, i.e. the woman's natural and or physical beauty, and B, that which they adorn themselves with, meaning jewelry, eyeshadow, attractive clothing, hand dye, etc. Surah An-Nur spells out specifically that commands concerning the fact that a woman's natural beauty and her adornments are to be concealed from the strangers, except by what may show due to accidental or uncontrollable factors such as the blowing of the wind, etc., and what has been exempted, such as the hands and the face. Page 12. Allah also says, and this is in chapter 33, verse 59. O Prophet, tell your wives and your daughters and the women of the believers to draw their outer garments about themselves when they go out. That is better, so that they may be recognized and not molested. And Allah is forgiving, most merciful. Chapter 33, verse 59. So it's talking about a specific garment that should be thrown over themselves in order to protect them and they will not be molested. Abu Dawood, the scholar of Hadith, narrates that Aisha, anha, said, Asma, the daughter of Abu Bakr, came to see the Messenger of Allah, sallallahu, wearing a thin dress. Okay, a thin dress, meaning that now her shape could be shown. So Allah's Messenger, sallallahu, turned away from her and said, O Asma, once a woman reaches the age of menstruation, right, period, no part of her body should be seen but this, and he pointed to his face and hands. So again, no part of the body of the woman when she reaches the age of menstruation should be shown except the face and the hands. The word kumar or khimar refers to a cloth which covers the head, including the ears, neck, hair, and bosom. So it said that when you draw your khimar over, the hijab should cover specific parts of the body. That which goes over your head, again, which covers the head, including the ears. The ears should be covered. The ears should not be shown. You cannot show the ears, the hair, the neck, and the bosom. So that which covers the head should cover the breast, the neck, and the ears. The same thing applies because if we're teaching the sisters about salah, same rules apply to the age of 7. If we're teaching them about the salah, then they must know about the aura. They must know about the aura. What is the aura? The aura is covering their nakedness. So we get them in the habit of making the salah. So in getting them in the habit of making a salah, they have to get in the habit of covering properly. Okay? At the age of 7. At the age of 10, they have to make the salah, so therefore they have to wear the hijab properly according to the mechanics of the salah. So you, as a mother, should get the child or the daughter used to wearing proper hijab. Don't have to force it on her, but especially in this society, we want to get our children used to this. And if they want to wear it, don't stop them from wearing it. But to say, well, you have to before they reach puberty, no, they don't have to. But if we're trying to get them acclimated into it at the age of 7 anyway, they're going to start doing this a lot. So they must know what is proper to wear. And at the age of 10, they're going to get spanked if they don't. So the mothers, and there's another hadith that goes through the mothers, that is a responsibility of the mothers to get the daughters acclimated with regards to these things of wearing proper covering, inshallah. In order to, as we get into it, it said that Allah said there are some people that may have diseases in their hearts. And they got nothing to do with the child, they got nothing to do with her. She's innocent. But it said with regards to those who may have a disease, a sickness in their heart, and we know they are pedophiles and all this other kind of stuff, so it is real. So we want to protect, and it says in his ayah to protect our women from being molested, right, or harmed. Okay? So inshallah, we want to try to get our girls acclimated with wearing proper clothing, and that's why the mothers have to be good examples in wearing the proper covering so that they will want to be like their mothers, inshallah. Again, the word humur or kimar refers to a cloth or head covering that covers the head, including the ears, so the ears cannot show, the earrings cannot show, the hair, the neck, and the bosom. So that which covers the head should cover the breast as well. The esteemed Mufassir, Quranic interpreter Al-Fresnowwy explains, women in the past used to cover their heads with a kimar, throwing its end over their backs. This left the neck and the upper part of the chest bare, in the manner of the Christians. Then Allah commanded them to cover those parts with the kimar. So it's saying that they used to wear it like this, where they threw it over their backs, and so, they wore it like this in the chest to show, but Allah commanded them to cover the chest. Allah states further in this ayat, A'udhu-billahi minash-shaytanir-rajeem, and let not them stamp their feet so as to reveal what they hide of their adornments. The women in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they used to wear anklets which could be employed to attract attention by stamping their feet, thereby making the anklets tinkle, make a noise. This practice is not only forbidden by Allah, but moreover shows that the legs and the ankles are to be covered as well. Some of the modern day Hanafi scholars are of the mistaken view that a woman can display her feet. This is a misconception. A portion of the forearms and her ears. This is the Hanafis. Yet there is no authentic proof from the practice of the Prophet ﷺ or his Sahabas to uphold their view. So the only ones are the Hanafis who believe this. They believe that you don't have to cover your feet, but they're mistaken. So bracelets, okay, but we're talking about anklets, that this was something that was a specific thing that they did to gain attention, to make a noise. But as far as rings and stuff like that, there's nothing against that. And inshallah, we're going to talk about that with regards to the adornment, the jewelry, and doing things to be seen or to look attractive to the men. Among the authentic hadiths which clarify this point is the following. Ibn Umar reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, on the day of resurrection, Allah will not look at the man who trails his garment out of pride. So again, this is a part of the awrah for the men is to be covered from the navel to the knee, but also another thing is that we do not wear our clothes below the ankle. Okay, and this is called isbal. Isbal, meaning wearing your clothing below the ankles. For the men, we're talking about your pants legs. We're talking about your trousers. Your toes. This is for the men. For the women, there's an exception. Their stuff should be long. Okay? Their stuff should be long to cover their legs, to cover their feet. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not look at the man who trails his garment out of pride, being of the mustaqbirin, those who are arrogant. Salama then asked, what should a woman do with the hems of her garment? He replied, let them lower them a handspan, right, from the ankles, a handspan. She said, their feet would be exposed. So again, she said, my feet would be exposed. He then said, let them lower them a forearm's length, but no more. Right? Again, showing that the feet should be covered. Reported by Tabarani in the Sahih. The ayat of Surah An-Nur also lists in detail those with whom a woman is permitted to be more at ease. Furthermore, the ayat from Surah Al-Ahzab, chapter 33, orders the women to draw their outer garments about themselves when they go out. Scholars who say that the feet should be covered at all times. If you, because we know with some persons when they make sajda, your feet get exposed. So therefore they should be covered with socks. There's some scholars, Sheikh Al-Bani, he states that they should be covered at all times with socks. They should be covered at all times. Okay? Now with regards to, there is evidence that if your ibaya goes long, okay, and your feet are covered, but I know, and I've witnessed it in the house, when some sisters make sajda, and they put the heels and whatnot, the dress comes up and your feet are exposed. Okay, so to be better than safe than sorry, put on the socks. Otherwise, your salat will be invalidated. She said, but my feet are exposed. He said, well, lower it so that your feet are not exposed. So if she's walking and you don't never see her feet, you don't know if she got socks or not because you don't see her feet. We're talking about with regards to the salat. And I can witness to that some of the sisters in our house, when they make sajda, their feet are exposed. You understand what I'm saying?
It ain't worth the risk.
And so if they are not wearing the socks, so yes, you tell your sister to wear the socks when she makes the salat. It's very simple. Right. Inshallah, the imam, just like I'm the imam of my household. I have to implement the deen in my household. So if it belongs to me, I tell my women to wear socks. They got to wear socks in my house. Based on this information. If I'm the imam in the masjid, just like the sister said, she would have put this on the wall. Okay, so that's something that we should put so that there won't be any discrepancy. With regards to the hadith, the regards that the imam is responsible for the salat, and when he's responsible for the mechanics of the salat, he's responsible to making sure aqim salat, meaning the foot to foot, shoulder to shoulder, to the best of his ability. Now, if he's over here making salat and he can't see the women, that's why, inshallah, we want to implement sisters that know the Sharia. We need police over there, women police, that know this. That's what we're doing over there. So that you guys can take this information over there and y'all implement this among the sisters over there. So we need an elite group of sisters. Okay? We don't need no lukewarm sisters. We need an elite group of sisters who are implementing the Sunnah the same way that, inshallah, the men were trying to implement the Sunnah foot to foot, shoulder to shoulder, because we're trying to rejuvenate the Sunnah. Y'all sisters too should be over there trying to rejuvenate the Sunnah. Furthermore, the ayah from Surah Al-Ahzab orders Muslim women to draw their outer garments about themselves when they go out. Abu Dawud related that Aisha anha said, after this ayat was revealed, the women of the Ansar appeared like crows. All they saw was blackness. They looked like black crows. In the shape of the cloaks they wore. Hence, an outer garment or cloak must be worn by a Muslim woman whenever she goes out in public, or if she is in the presence of strangers within her own home or the home of a close relative. Slight differences have arisen amongst the scholars concerning the precise meaning of, except only that which is apparent. From Surah An-Nur, which according to Ibn Abbas, he said this includes the face, the two hands, and the rings. This view is shared by Ibn Umar, Ata'a, and others from the Tabi'in. Tafsir Ibn Kathir. Also, Imam Shawkani states concerning this ayat that it includes the dress, the face, and the two hands. The major point of difference among the scholars concerns the hadith al-Asma, i.e. that the face and the hands need not be covered. The number of scholars have maintained that the face and the hands must also be covered. So there are some scholars who say that the face and the hands must be covered, and they do have evidence. The major point of difference among the scholars concern the hadith of Asma. So there's a hadith of Asma, anha, she's the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wherein she said that the face and the hands need not be covered. A number of scholars have maintained that the face and hands also should be covered, because it was the practice of the wives of the Prophet ﷺ that they covered their face and their hands, and it was the practice of the wives of the Sahabas to cover themselves completely according to authentic hadith. So the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, they covered their faces and they covered their hands. So this is the niqab.